Hi, Scorpio, and welcome to your reading for the week beginning the 1st of June 2025. The energy around this reading is of the Ace of Wands, which is very positive. It's about being on your path. One thing will lead to another, to another, to another. And it's about pulling up anchor and setting sail. So let's have a look and see where you're sailing to. Well, you're heading for a much greater time of peace and contentment and happiness. The Empress is summertime, that sort of wonderful, not having to do anything, just be creative and enjoy it. And this could indicate a trip also that you're planning, possibly by road, but a big improvement. They are talking here about falling in love or an attraction that feels like falling in love and making a choice, discerning whether this is real or whether it's an illusion. This would be, if something doesn't feel right, the emotional lesson is that it isn't right. And I don't really have to tell a Scorpio that. And also so that the 10 of Wands is often, it's the completion of a cycle and the beginning of a new chapter. Um, again, with a greater sense of peace and clarity and tranquility. And of course, everything is thought, and swords are thought. So this is about this sort of change to do with the way you're thinking. And the Nine of Swords is the end of a period of intense worry or fear, again, leading to a greater sense of peace. So these are, and of course, Scorpio are usually ahead of others with emotional wisdom. And on a spiritual level, we're really releasing a lot of old stuff at the moment, old thoughts, worries, fears. So anything that comes up, you can release this instantly. And then you're, as was said here as the energy, but around the reading, you're on your path. So these are just little bumps in the road to clear. You are also being very intuitive, aware of timing and what is the right timing for things. And you may be juggling situations as well. So again, this is about the release of emotions, release of old pent up things that that are no longer necessary. But it's also another meaning of the 10 of Wands is that you have carried a very heavy load. And this is indicating that you're getting now to a time where you're starting to reap the benefits. He's carried this load, he's got a full load, but he's nearly home. And this is leading to death is endings and new beginnings. It's where you start to get what you want. And this is to do with your truth. Your judgment is your truth, your honesty, your integrity, and to yourself. So it's having great self-confidence and in a positive way, not so that you're full of yourself, more that you just have this quiet confidence. And this is due to your intuition and your ability to connect with your guides. Your guides speak to you often through your emotions. But this is more than that. It's sort of a psychic ability and a connection with your guides, which leads to success. So it's a clearing out of the old and a rebuilding of what you want and freedom. The devil, the story of the devil is, I don't know if I've said this before, but it's about, it was created by the Romans when they invaded Britain, and the Romans took Christianity with them, or their form of Christianity. And the Britons were pagans and they worshipped the triple-faced goddess and the horned god. The horned god was a wild free man running through the forest with antlers on his head. And the Romans didn't want wild free Britons running through the forest. So they made the horned god into the devil, which is the negative connotations of the horned god, things like addiction or fear. So it's about clearing any blocks of fear, being in the moment. The world is about being in the moment. being with friends, being with people who you trust, and not succumbing to overanalysis. This can be an addiction to analysis, and this is an ending, a final ending to do with that way of thinking. You do also, you have the card of the Magician here and the High Priestess. The Magician is to do with alchemy, but it's also to do with your star family. It's saying that you come from a much higher dimension and vibration to Earth, and that you may be relearning this on the earthly plane, but also they're asking you to connect into what you know, what you feel is true. So we forget everything when we come to Earth, and it's a regaining of that knowledge, but you already have it within you. And it's often to do, well, it's always to do with being of service to the Earth and service to people or the creatures on the Earth. And this may be it's something that you're studying. It can be healing, teaching, advising, leading, all of these areas, which leads to financial success, but also it's being of service. You do have the Three of Cups is about joyful celebrations, more social invitations, and lightness. And this is you're heading in this direction to do with it being long term, and it's extremely positive. You also have the Sun here. The Sun represents, especially when it's in the line of karma, luck being with you, but really it's not luck, it's because you've put all the work in. But also asking for new beginnings or guidance from your spirit guides. This is the card of the spirit guides, and this is the card of the star family in the line of karma. So let's have a closer look. You may need to do a little bit of relaxation. I know Scorpios can work extremely hard, and you can tax yourself with your mental and emotional stresses. So any chance you get, make that choice to find peace within yourself and focus on gratitude. Focus on that joy of, oh, thank goodness I have this in my life. Or, and then you start to attract more of what you want rather than focusing on the negative, because then you attract more of that, and you don't want to do that. I'm sure most Scorpios are aware of this. This is talking about an expansion to do with your career once you're clear. Yes, of course, whenever we expand on our careers and take on something else, something new, it might be a second thing that you're balancing with something else you do. We do come across challenges, but this is definitely showing that you have an overcoming of those challenges, and to do with putting the work in and really focusing on your career and work. The Queen of Pentacles is about focusing on what you want to do with your career, and that's the big thing that's coming up here. If you're not doing something work-wise, it might be something else that you're sharing with the world. There's some big opportunities here. The King of Swords can represent big opportunities that you have worked for, and having some sort of goal. So this is seeing a goal, reaching that goal, seeing the next goal, working quite towards it with great excitement, really, because the star is about hope and positivity. And regaining this from the past, if you feel like you've lost your way a little bit, going back to when you felt excited and felt like you're on your path, and finding ways to bring that back in. It is important. Sometimes this is about boundaries and not always doing things that other people want you to do, or feeling like they're invading your space or something. Scorpios need time to themselves, and it's about choosing who is of, you know, who's the best sort of energy to be around. You have some lovely aces here. Aces are always positive. The Ace of Cups is about unconditional love. So having people around you who come from unconditional love, and getting everything in order in your life, like having your house in order and having your health in order, and connecting more and more to this higher vibration by when you have beautiful things around you, when your house is clean and neat and tidy, you just feel better about yourself, don't you? So this is extremely positive to do with setting yourself up financially. He is a merchant and he's got all of this wealth. You might be being pulled in many directions or have many thoughts scattered to do with this attaining of this wealth, but they're saying don't scatter your energy into too many directions. Bring it back to now. What can you create now? Where's the positive energy now? And being ordered as well, as is indicated by the Emperor. Well, here's the Hermit, and it's about just having time to yourself. And again, next to the Magician, it talks about the powers and the knowledge that you brought into this lifetime. They're very powerful cards coming up together. And that there's some sort of divine intervention that feels like it's out of the blue. And it might be, you've tried things once, twice, 3 times, and it's the 4th time that this works. Or it might just be something that comes out of the blue. You might... Sometimes it's better, they're talking about a necessity or a need to keep things to yourself, or, this is also the card of leadership. So good leaders are often able to observe and not react. They might turn away internally, but they can observe and not react to the situations around them if they're negative or if people are being difficult. So you do have leadership qualities as well. Some of you, if you work in large institutions and corporations, it could be a time of attaining dreams to do with some sort of promotion. And there's a new beginning indicated here to do with the things that you're planting seeds of now. So now is the time where any seeds that you plant will grow, but it's also a time to get rid of the things that you don't want out of your life. Otherwise, they'll be around for a long time too. You don't have to rush into it. These could just be thoughts. You may want to pause and take time and work out what it is you truly want. The 10 of Cups is your wishes and hopes and dreams. But this is also to do with family. So it's a balance to do with family and your wishes and hopes and dreams, and contemplating that and working out, where you want to put your energy. Home is coming up as being very important. Also, again, this fits with this card of boundaries. Looking after yourself with who you have around you. But also the 5 of Swords is, yes, can be to do with conflict, but really it's about learning the lessons from conflict and developing strong problem-solving tools. And in this case, if you really look at the 5 of Swords, he has all the swords. He's defeated his opponents. So it's not as negative as people think it is, the 5 of Swords. This is talking about the possibility of travel within Europe, and this would be flights. Well, if you're in Europe, I suppose you can travel by road or rail, but This is talking about flying. And this has come up in nearly everyone's readings this week. The contrast between the devil and the lovers. The devil is fear, the lovers is creativity, and you can see that they're very similar. The devil, in its negative connotation, is being chained to something, but you can take those chains off. It can be an addiction to, in this case, a way of thinking, but it can be addiction to anything. You can release this addiction, and the key is self-love. And of course, when you're released from addiction, you have freedom. Again, travel, interesting. Short trips away and making that choice. Well, that is a card of Scorpio, and it is about, yes, Scorpios are often, very kind and put other people's needs ahead of their own, but that can sabotage you because you don't have enough energy for yourself. So it's about giving to yourself first, and then you can help others around you. And reminding, this is the card of the spirit guide, but this is your soul group who are around you. So we're never alone. You can tune in and feel them around you and ask for help. They're telling you you don't realize your potential. You have this huge potential on a soul level, and it's not just to do with the earthly plane. They're talking about you having this potential to create what you want on earth, but then that has benefits for others as well. So these are very positive cards. It is that time of purging for everyone, so of course that's coming up. So now we'll just have a little look. Because we got the cards, these incredibly spiritual cards, we'll just, well, I do this every reading actually, but we'll look at the starseed cards. Wow, this came up, I think, for Libra as well. All paths lead home, inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. And it is true that as we transform ourselves internally and do meditation or work to purge any negative thoughts or old patterns, we create a much better world around us, both for us and for other people. So that's interesting. That's come up at least twice in these readings. And now we'll just have a look at the Abraham Hicks cards, Ask and It Is Given, which are about manifestation. This has come up too this week. These must be more collective cards, I think. I can gradually change my vibrational frequency. And of course, yes, we can change our vibrational frequency. And a lot of it has to do with who we have around us as well. So it is about choosing your friends and those you spend the most time with carefully. These are the Dream Song Oracle. Grow your wishes. Well, that is here. Grow your wishes through visualization. You will attain them. That's what they're saying. There might be a pause between you attaining them and wishing for them, but these readings are quite quick. So they're saying you're on your path, and this is about any techniques that you can do, like visualization, affirmations, meditations, to grow your wishes. And these are the Earth Song Oracle. This is about things that are passing now. storm, chaos, anger, turbulence. In difficult, turbulent times, remember that this too shall pass. It's passing very quickly. We're releasing all this stuff much quicker than we used to, and we're in a time where things are coming up to be released all the time. So it's just a process. Dragonfly. Adaptability, presence, acceptance. Be present in the moment and enjoy the journey. And that fits with the world. And enjoying nature and self-love. Release of old patterns and programs is coming up here. So these oracle cards often reflect the tarot. But it does look like an extremely positive week, and that you're moving towards your goals. But of course, it's steps on the way, isn't it? It's not just the goal. It's enjoying the journey. So these are lovely cards, Scorpio, and thank you for being here. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. God bless.